Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fireside Chat. This is Gibbons Mika, your hostess. Now, Fireside Chat is an initiative of CCI. In these series of chats, we would like to talk to people, individuals within our community who are doing things within the community, giving back to the community, and we hope that through these chats, you will be able to get some bits of nuggets and some inspiration so that you also might start something. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be sitting here with me speaking about your own journey. My guest today is Olivia Lomata. She is a wife, she is a mother, a founder, an entrepreneur, a sales and marketing enablement manager. That is a mouthful, but she's much more than just that. But she's here with me. Anyways, she will introduce herself more. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Gibbon.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much for that introduction.
Thank you for being here. I know you're a very busy woman, so thank you for making time for me.
No worries.
How I hope today hasn't been so hard, because there was like storm and everything today in Ireland. We always have some kind of storm going.
Yes, it was quite hard. I've been awake since 4:30.
My day.
And due to the storm, my little one got up early, but we're surviving. We're getting through the day.
Yes. That's it. That's the most important thing, I guess. Yeah. So, how's life?
Life is good. Life is really good. And today in Dublin we have good weather. So, we're living. I recently, I think I'll give you a quick introduction and give you some background.
Please. I think I didn't catch everything, so please do so.
What's happening? My name is actually Olivia Lomata Chou.
Oh,
I'm recently married.
Okay. Put some respect on the name. Thank you.
I'm a mother of a beautiful son. I've been living in Ireland the majority of my life since 1996. I'm Irish, originally Congolese. Or, as some people may say, I'm Congolese, nationalized Irish, whatever floats your boat. But throughout that time, I've also lived 1 year in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived 6 years in London and 3 years in Geneva. I finished my studies here in Ireland. I studied at Trinity College in 2013. And since then, I've been working in tech.
You're quite the globetrotter, as they say.
I tried. I tried to keep my mind busy.
Wow. So when you graduated, what did you do? What did you graduate from?
So my master's is actually in literature translation. So it's not even what I work in today. Right. But when I did graduate, I started looking for the first job that was available. That was my goal.
So did you do your undergrad and master's all at once?
I did it all at once because I said once I'm finished school, I'm not going back.
Just don't want to go back, yeah.
And I wasn't. I think to my mother, I was a delightful child, but academics wasn't something that I wanted to do my whole life. Some people can just go on studying forever.
Yeah.
I was like, my goal is just to get this over and done with, and and get on with the money.
Yeah. So when you finished secondary school, was going to college a natural path for you, or what was it like for you?
Yeah, definitely. After secondary school, going to college was a natural path. I did want to go to college. I did also have a huge passion for dance. So hence I ended up in Atlanta, Georgia for a year. I really wanted to be a dancer. So I said to myself, I think I did 1 year of college, and then it was the summer I did a J1 visa actually.
Oh, right.
And I said, you know what, I'm going to go to Atlanta, Georgia and pursue my career, and I was going to be a college dropout.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, tell, what is the J1? Because I haven't heard about that in a long time. But please, tell us more about it. I don't know if it's COVID or
am I that
before
old?
That.
So the J1 visa, it used to be, you get a visa to go to America and you can work there for a certain period of time, and you get it through your university as a student. And, I think now I'm not sure, but if you see every summer, you would see like a long line of students queuing up outside the American embassy, right? Just waiting for that visa so we can get on the flight to America to go work. Yeah, so you go work in America, and technically you're supposed to come back and go back to college.
Yeah.
But as I decided I was dropping out, I was like, well, I'm getting this visa. I'm going to pursue my career as a dancer.
And how was that in Atlanta?
It was
American.
good. Yeah, it was good, but I didn't succeed. I think, you know, having African parents, you also mentioned the same to me, being that you have a fashion background. Having African parents is something that, you know, they realized, and I quickly realized it wouldn't get me to where I needed financially, where I needed to be, you know, in a career or with the family quite quickly enough, unless I was super passionate or unless I landed the best contract straight away, right? So after a couple of months, I called my mom and I said to her, you know what, I want to come back and I want to continue my studies.
Yeah. So for context, so we were actually talking earlier on, and we were just talking about how African parents, sometimes they're very reluctant in supporting you in the creative industry. You know, they're all just about the doctor, the engineer, the lawyer, you know, something.
Yeah.
And no, you know, they have their reasons, of course, and it's all about having a stable job, stable income, you know, for your own security. But we're just literally talking, I loved fashion. My parents didn't want me to do fashion, had to change. And yourself was dance for you. Yeah. And how was the reception when you decided to come back to Ireland?
I think it was quite warming because my mom always said, you know, it was in her prayers. So she welcomed me with open hands, that, you know, I was going to change my mind and come back to her. And, you know, my mother, she emigrated here to Ireland in 1996 as a single mother. Wow. So she really appreciated and is grateful for what Ireland has done for her and the opportunities given to her and her children, right? So if we were to succeed or do anything, she wanted us to do it in Ireland. So when I came back, I had a really great welcome because they missed me, first of all. But second of all, I think the community welcomed me quite well as well, because on my way back, my mom was talking about there was Miss Congo Ireland, and it was 2009. And she said to me, you know, Miss Congo Ireland's happening and I want you to do it. And I am no model. I am no catwalker. And I was such a tomboy. And I said to her, you know, I'm not going to do that. She was like, well, it's something for you to do. You know, you haven't been here. This competition's happening. It's going to be interesting. Why don't you do it? She signed me up and I was literally thrown in. Yeah, didn't even do much of the rehearsals. I think I came back 2-3 weeks before the competition or something. But to my excitement, it actually went quite well. And you know, I got great welcome from the community. As I said, you know, it was held at the Crown Plaza in Blanchardstown, and I've never seen so many Congolese people come out to support one another, but also to support a Congolese event. So this is something that I hope we'll start seeing again soon with CCI.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen a Congolese event being that big in a while, so it would be good to bring it back. Absolutely. And how was your experience in it with the whole thing?
I feel my experience was good in the moment because the organization prior and in the moment was great. And the fact that, as I said, you had the community supporting you, you know, I did the beauty pageant. As I said to you, I was no catwalker, but my brother's one actually taught me how to walk.
Your brother
he taught me how to walk. Throw your legs forward. This is how you walk.
I love that.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, people looking at me like, oh, why is she doing this competition, you know? But I was like, look, I would actually love for you to win because I just got off a flight and this is the last thing I want to be doing. So, you know, I just learned how to walk in heels, so bear with me, you know? So I'm not coming to compete. I'm just coming to have fun. And one of the things at the pageant, when they asked, you know, oh, what do you want out of this pageant? I remember I said to them, world peace, as a joke. Nobody got it, but, you know, I knew I was taking the piss because I really didn't want to be in that position. But it was great. And then it was after the competition that we realized, you know, that the organization wasn't a huge success because everything they had promised to the contestants, they couldn't uphold their promises. So so then you realize, okay, this is where the community actually failed you. And I think that's when you have a lot of people kind of pulling back and again being reluctant to do stuff with the community because of things like this.
Absolutely. And then what came after for you, after this competition?
Yeah, I think one thing that came after the competition, so the competition was in September 2009, And the summer of the next year, I traveled to Congo. And one of the things I said in the competition that I wanted to do was help children in Congo, help in terms of education and life skills. So when I went to Congo in 2010, I asked my mom's driver to take me to any village that I could help out. I had a part-time job, and my aim was, with my 20 euros that I'd buy a pair of shoes in Zara, let me do something for these kids. And I used to love Skittles back then. I remember I used to paint my nails the colors of Skittles and everything. So I had a packet of Skittles, and I think I had pens or pencils. And he took me to a village where, we parked the car. We had to go in a motorbike because the car couldn't go up there. And it was like, an area outside the actual, outside Kinshasa itself, just a little bit. And we went there, and I saw these kids, and I saw how little meant so much to them. I had a packet of Skittles. I gave a couple of Skittles to one kid, and one thing he said to me when he tasted Skittles, he said, "Bombo, is that sibine?" And
he tasted the rainbow, right?
I will always remember that. That's one thing that stuck to me, and I said to myself, if I can change that life, how much more can I do? So, when I went back, I had this idea of a charity. So I started my charity, Educate Congo, which basically focuses on not only curriculum education, but focuses on life skill. Because if we look at the Congo today, not every child is able to educate themselves or go to college or get a certificate or come out as something else. But we focus on a theory called the Chickering theory, which helps them with life skills. So it helps them be able to, if you're a painter, be able to sell your painting. If you know how to do woodwork, be able to do crafts that will be able to sell for $1 or whatever. So this is something we focused on, and the charity itself has been self-funded throughout all these years. And because one thing I said, you don't need a lot to change your own country, so we don't ask for donations. We don't do any of this collection or anything. I just give back with what I have, and and that's enough.
And do you see it stay that way, or you're open to maybe some of the viewers will watch this and want to give into your charity here? Would you be open for that?
I don't have a bank account. I don't have a bank account for the charity.
Easy fix. Yeah. That's an easy fix. Yeah. But I think when you say life skills, you did mention crafts. Do you end it there, or what other life skills do you give? Because not everyone can be doing woodwork.
No. So it's your life skill. So basically, as a child, when you are part of Educate Congo, you come to me with what you know how to do best. If you know how to salamikate, and quite interesting story. My grandfather, a couple of people know my grandfather is one of the wealthiest men in Congo. He started off, before he was a politician, he started off as a manote kamikate nakwa. Wow. And till today, his riches passed down to his grandkids. But we'll always go back and remember that, he's Portuguese, Italian, so he was part of the colonization, a white man who ended up staying in the country. But he was this white man who learned how to do mikate very well in a corner. And today we all feed from my grandfather. Wow. So that could be your life skill. Your life skill could be just that, or your life skill could be, you know how to braid hair. So let's, make that something you can make money out of, So that's what we call life skills.
I think so far from speaking to you, it's quite apparent that what you have is what you're giving back. From what I've noticed, you've mentioned the fact that, you work with what you have. And that is what you're putting in Educate Congo, in your charity, to teach the kids to monetize or use what they already have, or what they already know what to do. So it's not like I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, you do this, you do that. You yourself are embracing, you are, what's the word I'm looking for?
You're valuing.
Yes, you're valuing it. You're you're the embodiment of it, you know, of what you're preaching. So I think that is that's an important lesson that we can all learn, you know, that you don't have to wait to have a lot. You just have whatever you have in front of you, you can start with that. How old were you when you went to Congo?
I was 19, 20 when I first went to Congo. So just after my first year of university. What's that? Yeah, I am, because I came back to do the second year, yeah. So it's 19, 20, yeah.
That's quite young, you know, and I think, again, you're never too young to start.
Yeah.
And it's not every 19-year-old who are thinking about that. Like, let me just go back and help out. And how will I help? You know, sometimes you feel like you're David in front of this Goliath, and you don't know what, you know, it's like, wow, this is huge. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But instead of looking out like that, you just say, no, I'm going to use what I have.
Yeah.
And that's what you're teaching the kids. And I think that's really good. And then prior to that, you also, one thing didn't work out for you, dance. You didn't give up. You went ahead and, you know, reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
You went ahead and did another course and moved on from that. It wasn't an anchoring for you. It was just the beginning, if I can say. And I believe that you're doing that as well for the kids. You know, if they want to do mikate, let's say, and actually in the end it's not that great, do you help them then explore another way for them?
Yeah, definitely. You'd help them like explore, okay, you are a baker, because I can tell you now, you know how to bake or you know how to cook. I'm a cooker, I'm not a baker. So I can make mikate 50 times, I'll fail, you know, but then again, failing is the greatest thing. That's your knowledge, that's where you're learning, right? But let's explore that criteria. You're good at baking, what else can you bake? You know, let's not just make mikate. Can you bake something else? It could be even something more simpler or something a little bit harder. I'm the type of person, ever since I was young, I cannot cook easy stuff. I always cook something really complicated. Yeah. Like, you know, I can't cook.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah. And you know, and I was always like that in school, even like I couldn't do simple maths, but I could do like algebra and all the complicated stuff. So some people work the other way around. Other people could work the other way around. They might want to be able to, or they might have the better skills to do something easier. But as long as we can like search inside, whether it's your soul or, you know, give you that, you know, that push to really find what you're good at, you know, that's what I was focusing on for the longest of times.
And the charity today, how many kids are in this program?
So today we just have a little under 200 children.
Wow.
And it's not me actively running the charity. We have a partner charity, Fondation One, who's actually based in Congo. And just before COVID, we built water wells for a couple of schools in Congo. And Fondation One is actually doing most of the groundwork now. So I've kind of been hands-off and non-active since COVID. And obviously a lot of things happened during COVID.
Of course, yeah.
When I couldn't travel to, I had a baby, I got pregnant, I got married. So, you know, and here we are today, just after COVID. So I think I will pick back up soon.
Yeah. Now, after the whole globe trotting and all that, you're back here. You are a manager in Google. Tell us about that and how you went about, because it has, you know, your title has nothing to do with what you studied. From what you told me. So tell us, how did you end up in that?
Yeah, I know, that's quite interesting. I always say to everybody, like, what I do now is not what I studied, right? So I studied literature, but when I moved to London after my studies, which was my first job, I applied for any job that I could get, and it happened to be a tech job. That's where I started. So I started a company called Experian. I started Experian as an account manager. So, you know, selling, I had a small SMB, small book of business, and I was no good at selling. So as much of a bullshitter as I can be, I was no good at selling, so I didn't succeed. But I remember my manager always telling me, you know, she said to me, you're not good at this, but I like you as a person, so we're going to find what you're good at in the business. So from that, I went into account executive, which was more relationship management, renewals. So looking after like a bigger portfolio. And that I was really good at. And so I progressed in that very quickly. I saw myself getting like 2 promotions in the same year, and that was amazing. But I always told myself, you have to move careers every 2 to 3 years. So if you want to value yourself and want to get the salary that you want, your current job isn't going to always give you that. So the promotions that I did receive, I would get like a 10% increase. But due to the fact that I've moved every 2 to 3 years since before I hit 30, like I have increased my salary by 10 times from what I started earning back then. And that is because I stepped into the next role. As I stepped into the next role, speaking of my value and what I did in my current role, they would be in awe because they're like, oh, this is what you do. This is what you bring to the table. And they give you that value, and you reset a new expectation, right? And you keep moving like that. So I left Experian after I think it was 2.5 years, 3 years. And that was because whilst I was in London, I got a call from Google. And I had been applying for Google for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, it's something I mentioned. I was applying for Google back when, I don't know if they still do it today, where when you're doing the application, they used to ask, how many continents have you visited? So at one stage, I had only visited 2 continents, Africa and Europe, But as I got to keep applying, I visited, at Experian, I also visited Asia. So I was like, no, I visited Asia. And I came back from America. So I kept ticking off these continents. So, I had now got this role at Google, and it was based in Dublin. So they asked me to move back to Dublin, and it was again an account management job, but it wasn't selling; it was relationship based. So, that's where I started off at Google.
Okay, and let's go a little bit back. The job that you started in London, was that an entry level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that how? For you, did you feel like that was below you, or was it easy for you to just go in and move your way up?
Mm.
Did you have that in mind, or you just went in because you just needed the money?
I just wanted to make money. I'm not gonna, you're talking to a college dropout, somebody who didn't want to study a couple of years ago, now finished school, made my mom proud. I'm like, where's the dough?
Yeah.
So I really just wanted to make money, and I got so lucky for where I landed. And I had an amazing manager when I became an account executive at Experian, who kind of put me in the path of where I am today. She was just so she was royalty. Like I really looked up to the manager I had then, and that got me to where I am today. And I as I said, still when I got the promotions, you get 10% here, 10% there, nothing major. You're just thinking of, you're living by paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Like, let's just keep moving in life. I didn't think it was below me. I just knew I was making money, and I knew I could make more money because I had that idea of, I'm going to move. After I get this experience, I'm going to move. After I get this experience, I'm going to move.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was going to be below me. I knew that I would make it up one day. So, yeah.
Yeah. And although you're not good at your job, you said, you're likable. So, ladies and gentlemen, take notes. Be likable in your jobs. Okay? You can't just not be good at your job and not be nice. Like, pick a struggle. Okay?
Yeah.
Just pick a struggle. So, coming back here then, in your role, how long have you been being in this role? Sorry.
In this particular role, I've actually been in this particular role since 2019. So just coming up to 4 years in this particular role. So I've been at Google longer, but I was at 3 different roles in Google. So, and this one here, I've been here since 2019, and it was again the same situation for this role, and it's insane. I'm still friends with my manager who hired me.
Sure.
When she hired me for this role, I struggled so much, and one thing that I did during this role was I went and studied a diploma on predictive analytics for this particular role because it was so above me, and I couldn't do it. I spent days in the office. I would come in at 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. Like, I was single and living life anyway, so it's either we're out or we're in, So I was working hard for the first 2 years, and in the first 2 years, the first year, my manager said to me, she said, I knew this role would be higher than you, but I liked you. And I wanted you to do the job. I wanted to work with you. And, I kick myself sometimes, like, why did she give me this struggle? It was hard. Like, I always, people, like my friends who know me and know where I've made it to today in my career financially, like, they're like, you deserve that because I worked my ass off. Of course, but I thank Google now because they gave that back to me now, right? So that first 2 years now, like, my job is I'm not going to say laid back because then I'm probably giving people the wrong image, but it goes to my own pace. Like, I'm the one who leads my job, and I'm the one who chooses who I want to work with. I'm the one who hires. I'm the one who supports my managers on creating my OKRs or her OKRs. So it's a whole kind of like bond thing rather than, oh, I'm going to work tomorrow. No, I'm actually doing what I love to do, and it's something I struggle to do, so it makes it more meaningful for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very, the fact that you went out and decided, look, let me upskill myself for this role. Like, I would say it's not that it was above you just felt like, okay, this is a new challenge. I think you just like challenges. You enjoy it now.
Yeah,
like,
they're fun.
Like, let me just go in there. Let's see what I can do with this thing here.
Yeah.
It's quite fun for you, isn't it?
Yeah, let's not get bored. Like, let's keep it moving.
Nowadays, with your new role as a wife and a mom, how is it to balance? How's that working? Balancing that with work, and I'm sure now you can't afford doing the 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. days. You have to. How's that going for you?
I think one of the things I would always say is when I went back to work after maternity, I remember having a call with my manager, and I said to her, before I used to work really hard at this role because I was single and I wasn't married yet and I wasn't a mother. Now things are going to change. We need to set like real expectations in my job. Like, so if we're working on a project, like that's what we need to focus on because I don't have time to stay late. I don't have time to like not be sure what we're doing. Like we need to be on point.
To get it on.
Yeah. And to be honest, I call it a beautiful challenge because being a wife mom, I say, is super challenging. It's beautiful, but it's really hard. And I take my role very seriously. I always say I try to stay on point. I try to make sure, my husband's happy, he's content. And, I try to make sure we have quality time. I try to make sure, like, my son is developing, hitting all his milestones, that, he's eating correct, he's healthy. And at the same time, I'm trying to make sure that I thrive in my career. And so I find that challenging. And I could be at a place in life where I could be lazy or give one place just 10%, another 20%, but I'm not that type of person. And to look back from where I've come from and where I am, I was never that type of person. So I'm not going to be it now. Yeah. So I feel that makes it a little bit more challenging for me being a wife mom, but it's a beautiful challenge. And I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. But I congratulate all the mothers who have more than one kid and all the mothers who are sitting at home taking this wife mom seriously because it's tough. So I really appreciate all the women doing their jobs correctly, living their roles correctly, if I should say. Yeah.
Did you feel with us being African, I feel like a lot of times you have to choose, are you a career woman or are you a mom or a wife? Like mom, wife, or career. In a way, sometimes I feel like in our community, indirect, and what am I trying to say? Indirectly, you have to choose between the two. You can't be both. How do you feel? Do you feel any kind of backlash from those around you? Did you feel people were looking at you differently when it came to that, especially within our community? Because I think that's one of the conversations that we should have more, in recognizing that a woman can be more than just a mom wife. She has aspirations, she has dreams, she is useful in the community, and we need to also help promote that. So what do you think?
I think definitely I totally agree with you. And I remember one conversation with my brother before I got married and had my child. He looked at me and he said to me, this career business isn't going to get you what you want in life, and he honestly said that to me. And I was like, whatever, I'm working hard. I'm living my best life. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't plan on having kids right now. So this is my focus. But a couple of years into that, a couple of months probably into that, I did realize, me personally, my true content and what really made me happy was to be a wife, was to be a mom. But the reason I continued my career, and I've always continued my career, is because I like to see me and my husband winning. Mm-hmm. I like to see us thriving. I like to know that, I can send my son to the best school. My son is going to have these investments that we're gonna leave him. So I like to see that. But I do understand that before having my son, I did get a backlash in terms of career or mother. But now after having my son, you get praised because, you're a working mom. And it's how do you do it? Because in Europe, it's totally different to how people do it in Africa.
Yeah.
In Africa, they have so much help, so much support from the family. Here, you're doing everything by yourself. Housework, relationship work, family work, creche drops, your career. You're doing everything by yourself. And through that, doing everything by yourself, you still need to have a successful life. And you're not going to have a successful life if you have to give up on your career. Mm. So whatever people want to think or whatever people want to tell you, pick one. It's up to you. You want to be a mom, and, that's fine if it works out for you, or you want to be a working mom. And if that works out for you and that's where you see your success, then you do that. Or if you want to be a career person and not be a mom at all, I also respect that. But I feel the challenge is real, but it's a personal decision.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think you should be able to choose which way you want. And I think in this time, these days, it's when a woman wants to, it was all girl boss. But now I'm seeing this trend where when a woman online is a mom and she is good with that, they're kind of oh, what do you mean? You just want to be lazy? Being a mom is not being lazy. Or you just want to be lazy at home, or it's, oh, children, they're nasty, they'll take your money, they do this. And I think there's that other extreme that people tend to go to, where it's again, not saying that you can't be a mom and a working person, but almost demonize or say, no, don't have kids, they will ruin your life. But let's have some positivity. What did you think when you became a mom? How was that for you?
It was a blessing. Yeah, it was a blessing because, I always say, because when I pushed that child out of me, I couldn't do it. It was the strength of God that allowed me to push that child out of me. So that's why I say it was a blessing at first. Mm-hmm. But it opened my eyes to so much. As I said, I now, I respect women who have more than one kid, who are there trying to get on with their 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a cousin who has 8 kids. I called her up and I was well done. You actually did this. You know what I mean? It's tough. So it opens your eyes. And even I saw my mom's hard work, things that I didn't see that my mom done for me as a young girl that I did see, but I just ignored because obviously I was young. I now saw this because I have to care for someone. I've brought someone into the world who I need to be diligent about, because my choices now impact their life.
Absolutely.
So
you appreciate what your parents done more, or you understand more as you grow older and you're in that role yourself as well.
And honestly, I feel it's made me a nicer person.
More patient. More chill, as they say.
It's made me a nicer person to understand that one more door, and that one more door is now I understand mothers, now I understand different women, and I connect to when I was single, I connect to when I was young, I connect to everybody now, and having that one door open up into a different view of women. You're like, okay.
Do you think that your empathy has grown as well as a result?
Yeah, for sure. Like you definitely can't look down on a woman. You know, one thing I would say, my husband's mixed, so my child is mixed. When we used to see mixed race kids when we were growing up, even our mothers, they'd be like, oh, he's got red skin, or, he's dirty, it means they don't wash or whatever. Mixed race skin has very complicated issues. So, so it's not that my child is not washing every day. They have very sensitive skin and they need a particular regime to take care of it. Even like his hair, at first it was straight and soft. So I'm washing it every day. And then, halfway through, I'm like, well, actually, I can't wash his hair every day because, he doesn't have hair like me. He doesn't have hair like his dad. We need to find his regime. So I have grown empathy where I'm like, don't judge these individuals. You don't know what they're going through at home, or, why their child's skin is like that, or why their child's hair is like that. You don't know their struggle, and it's beyond what we see. So yeah, my empathy has grown a lot. Yeah.
Given all of the experience that you have now and all the walks that you've done and the globe trotting and all that, what is one thing you would say to a woman right now who, in a way, let fear kind of make her fall back and not follow her aspirations or like her dreams, or there was kind of like a discouraging person who was telling her, hey, you have to choose one, you can't have both. Or she found herself in a situation where she's a mom now, and she feels like this is over for me. What would you say to her?
I think one thing I would say is embrace your challenges. Like, you definitely have to embrace your challenges. As you can see throughout my career, I failed so many times, but I just kept picking back up and keep going. Like, I pick back up and keep going. Like, I pick myself back up and keep going. So that's one thing for sure. But I also feel like, women should let their own lives inspire them. And, one thing that we spoke about before is I have a book coming out, The Theory of It's Okay. And The Theory of It's Okay speaks about letting your own life inspire you. So with your experiences, with your journey, with your challenges, all them difficulties, be inspired by that. Be inspired to be a better person. I always tell my mom, she's my greatest inspiration. And I say to her, Mom, you're great, but I don't want to be anything like you. I want to be better than you. I don't want to make the mistakes you did. So that's what I'm saying. Like, be inspired by your own life. So whatever you did, wherever it failed, or wherever it worked, like, you have a life skill. That life skill is this small. Make it bigger. That's your inspiration. It doesn't work, pick it up and try something else. Like, my career paths, my educational paths, two totally different things, and even my son, my husband, we could be completely on the opposite pages, but we make it work because it's a choice and it's something that, we embrace, and it's something that I love doing, and we keep it going. So, yeah.
Like you say, it's a choice. It's a constant choice that you have to keep taking. And throughout making that decision, making that choice, it becomes easier to embrace that challenge. I think for maybe the first one, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be, you're crying, you're whatnot. Did you cry in your first failure, if I can say? How do you remember your first failure?
Remember.
Or the
Did
feeling?
I first cry? I can't remember, but I remember when I decided to come back and pick up my studies, I did cry on the phone to my mom. Because I don't know if I cried whether because I was a failure in dance, or whether I just felt like, I wasn't getting to where I wanted to be, or I finally had given in to what she wanted. I don't know what the cry was at. I was frustrated. But I remember that phone call to my mom. I was crying when I was telling her, I'm coming back to go to school. Yeah.
Did you feel scared, or scared of what's ahead, or of the unknown, if I can say?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't. And I think that's because my mom is a great distraction, right? African parents love a good distraction. So she was great. As I said, there was the Miss Congo thing. So she kind of like distracted me with that. So I didn't get to focus on my fear or get to focus on, you know, what if I come back and it doesn't work? Because I had this huge distraction in front of me. Now, all of a sudden I was focusing on something else and I was thrown into the deep end. So I didn't have time to be scared or to worry about what was going to happen next because I immediately had something else in front of me that I was distracted by.
Yeah. So the support was really good because we see certain parents nowadays, they, you know, if their child failed at one thing, that is the song of the year. We're not going to stop. You know, and words like that is very discouraging. Yeah. It's very discouraging. And, you know, a child can, depending on how the child's mindset or the skin is, if it's not thick, you know, they're not going to amount to much. They're going to say, well, you can say the situation as a failure. No, that's not a failure, Kasi. You know, they might give up. They might decide, okay, you think I'm an idiot? I'm going to be your idiot then. Yeah. You know, parents, I feel like the old school, they need to give more encouraging words. And I think having that wisdom that your mom had in giving you something to distract you, but still remaining active. Yeah. Not slouching in a corner in your house or in your bedroom and just kind of crying yourself to sleep. Yeah. You had something to do, and that gave you, you know, if I can say, the feeling of a little achievement that builds it and builds your confidence, and then before you know it, you're back out there again and picking up all these challenges, and it's not daunting anymore. Yeah, you just embrace it. And I think a lot of us need to get to that point where or have that support of people just to, you know, it's not daunting. It's okay. You can do it.
Yeah. I definitely think it's also a matter of your personality, because as you said, we're rarely going to get it from our African family or from, you know, the support system around us. So I think you need to be strong-minded, right? You know, one thing I always used to tell myself is, you know, the world's still moving, so I got to move. You know, absolutely. So whatever I did, whenever I stopped and cried, like, I just recall telling myself, like, this earth is still spinning around. Like, I need to move.
And the world is still moving. I gotta move.
Yeah, so that's why I just kept moving. And, you know, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Let's go back to your book. You mentioned your book, The Theory of It's Okay. When is it coming out? Can we expect it anytime soon? Is it still in the works?
So I'm hoping it comes out by the end of this year, 2023. Fingers crossed. I've been writing it for 4 years now. I started writing before I was 30. So one of the chapters is actually called I'm 30 and it's okay. So you have, it's broken down into 4 different chapters. I'm not married yet and it's okay. I don't have a child yet and it's okay. I have no investments and it's okay. I'm 30 and it's okay. So hopefully I have it out in 2023.
Okay. And what can we expect from that? I know you've just talked about the title of the chapters, but what else can we expect from the book?
So just as I said, you know, to embrace your challenges. So as the titles, they kind of speak for themselves, right? You're at this point in your life where you feel, you know, I'm not married yet. And my book really focuses on my culture and my traditions, because in my culture, it was daunting to not be married at a certain age. It was daunting to, you know, not have a certain goal or a certain education path at a certain age, or, you know, so as the chapters speak for themselves, I found myself, you know, looking at the spinning world and telling myself a good few times, like, it's okay. It's okay not to be where my parents wanted me to be. It's okay that I actually wanted to pursue dance instead of an academic career. You know, it's okay that I failed and I picked back up. It's okay that, you know, I changed jobs every couple of years, but that's what made me, you know, where I am today. And, you know, you get a lot of this in the book where, you know, it speaks about my journey, and this is why I feel like 2023 is a good time to release it, because it speaks about my experiences and my journey and the transformation of my life. And now I'm on the other side of that, and I can actually see the results. So now I felt it was a good time to share that with people who can relate to that.
Wow.
So this is why it's a memoir, but it's also a note to women. I don't want to categorize in the box and say it's a note to African women, but it is a note to certain women, and that focuses a lot on my culture.
And again, wherever you find yourself within those 4 chapters, there's something for you.
Yeah. Because as we can see today, I'm on the other side of them chapters, right? And I started writing that book when I was on the other side. So I definitely had a good bit to say, and I hope that I said it right in the book.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, The Theory of It's Okay by Olivia Chou. Okay, I got it. Okay. It's coming out soon, and you heard it here first. So stay tuned for when it will be released. And like Olivia said, you will find yourself in one of this chapter. It's for a specific type of woman, but there's something for each person. Any words for the young Congolese woman, for the young Congolese man, for the papas, the mamas, community na biso?
I think we all need to stick together. One thing, after living in different countries and moving back to Ireland, one thing I always say is I miss the community. I try to go to my mom's community church every Sunday, and it's not just for prayer, because I pray by myself at home, and there's a lot of politics in churches, I'm not gonna lie, but I go because of the community. So it's good to stick together and actually have a community, so it's good to come together. But also another thing that I would say, everything we looked at today is, things happen when you start. So you mentioned, we're waiting for something so we can start this, we can start that. Just start and you'll get there. And, and eventually everything else will fall into place. And lastly, as I said, embrace your life, embrace your challenges. We are nowhere near perfect, but that is the perfection in us. So I really do hope that everybody takes that away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, just start is such a simple statement, but it's so powerful, And from what you said, I think that's one thing that will stick with me. Just start. Like you said, the perfectionist us just always gets in the way. It's this is not done. This just start.
Yeah.
And then you just get better as you go around.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you, Gibbons, and thank you, CCI. So lovely.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Papa, Mama, Bayaya, Coco, Baleki, all of you, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fireside Chat. Like our sister here, Olivia, said, you just have to start. No matter what you have in front of you, just start with it. If you don't know where to start, your community is here for you. CCI is here for you. Do not hesitate. Contact us for any advice that you might have. You want to start lash business. You want to start mikate business. There's so many things out there. Olivia just shared with us that her grandfather started with making mikate. And today, like you said, they are living off that. And off that in the sense that it's still running, it's still flowing. So do not be afraid of just starting. There's power in that. To just start with feel the fear, but just go with it anyways. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was Gibbons Mika for Fireside Chat. Until next time, bye-bye.